When my relocation clients move to the greater Hartford area, there's a lot of things they all figure out eventually the hard way. And every single time when they've been here a year or two and we're talking, they say something like, why didn't anyone just tell me that before I moved? So that's what this video is. 10 things that I wish someone had told me and that I now wish I could tell every single person considering a move to the area before they get here. Some of these are practical, some are going to shift how you think about this region entirely. And a couple of them, well, there are things that don't show up in a relocation guide because you only learn them by living here. Stick around to the end because number 10 is the one I wish someone had said before I ever made the drive up here. It's the thing that takes the longest to figure out, and honestly, it might be the most important thing on this entire list. All right, let's jump in. Number 1 on the list, the suburbs of the story, not the city. Most people researching a move to this area start with Hartford, and they get a mixed picture. And look, downtown Hartford is genuinely improving. I did a whole video on the development boom happening right now, link in the description. But the first thing that surprises almost everyone who moves here, the suburbs are the story. And once you understand that, everything else makes sense. Towns like West Hartford, Glastonbury, Simsbury, Avon, South Windsor, these are the exceptional places to live. If you came here with a question mark about Hartford, and you're letting that color your impression of the entire region, zoom out. The greater metro area is the product, and it's a strong one. Number 2, fall here is not like fall everywhere else. I grew up in a small rural town in Rhode Island. I thought I knew fall. I did not know fall. The Connecticut River Valley in October is, and I'm gonna say this with my whole chest, one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. The foliage along the river, the working orchards, the farm stands, the cider, the donuts, the covered bridges. If you're moving here from somewhere more urban, this is going to hit you in a big, big way. My clients from New York City and even Fairfield County say it every single year. I didn't know it would look exactly like this. Plan to do nothing productive for about 3 or 4 weekends in October. You're welcome. Number 3, there are farms, and they're real. This sounds obvious when I say it out loud, but it genuinely surprises people. The Hartford suburbs, Glastonbury in particular, but also Simsbury, Avon, Granby, they've got working farms. You've got Scott's Orchard, Belltown Hill, Rob's Farm in Glastonbury, farm stands that become part of your weekly routine. The Glastonbury Farmers Market runs through the season and becomes one of those Saturday morning rituals you didn't even know you were looking for. Apple orchards, where you bring your kids on Saturdays in October, like it's just the thing to do. Blackledge Falls is a short hike that feels nothing like a suburb. Riverfront Park along the Connecticut River has trails that are genuinely beautiful in every single season. If you're coming from a place where farm to table is a marketing phrase on a restaurant menu, this is going to reframe things for you in a big way. The access to genuinely local seasonal food and real outdoor space here is not just a selling point. It's just a regular Tuesday. And speaking of things that surprise people, number 4 is the one that almost every single client from New York or Boston gets completely wrong before they arrive. And that is West Hartford Center deserves much more credit than it gets, and it gets a lot. People who haven't been to West Hartford Center underestimate it. Consistently, it is genuinely one of the best walkable town centers in New England. You've got Max Oyster Bar, Savoy Harvest. These are serious restaurants, the kind of places you drive to if you were somewhere else. Here, they're just a regular Wednesday night. In wine bars, boutiques, farmers markets, a bookstore, a real coffee culture. On a Saturday afternoon, it's alive in a way that most suburbs can only approximate. I have relocation clients who choose to live in other towns and then end up spending half their weekends in West Hartford Center anyway. It becomes a destination. If you're worried about giving up urban energy when you move to the suburbs, well, West Hartford specifically addresses that concern. Now, halfway through the list, before we get to number 6, which is the counterintuitive one that surprises almost everyone, grab that relocation guide from the link below. It goes deeper on every single town we're talking about today. All right, number 5, halfway, the insurance corridor is real and it matters for your career. Hartford has been called the insurance capital of the world, and that's not just history, it's current reality. Aetna, the Hartford, Travelers, Lincoln Financial, major carriers, and the massive ecosystem of companies that support them are all here. If you work in insurance, finance, healthcare administration, or any of the other professional services that orbit through those industries, the job market in Greater Hartford is stronger than the city's reputation suggests. This is one of the most common reasons why people relocate here, and it's one of the things that keeps the suburb housing market as healthy as it is. Number 6 is your social life might actually get better. And this is the counterintuitive one. A lot of people who move here from the city, whether it's Boston or New York or even Fairfield County, assume they are giving up their social life. The density, the options, the spontaneity of urban life, you can't replicate that in the suburb. And they're right, you can't. But here's what they don't tell you. What you get instead is often better. In a city, you can go out every night and still feel lonely because your relationships are wide and shallow. In a place like Glastonbury or West Hartford, your social life slows down and it gets deeper. You start seeing the same people at the sidelines and at the school pickup and at the farmer's market. And you get invited to things. You build an actual friendship with people who live 5 minutes away. A lot of my clients who are nervous about the social trade-off come back a year or two later and they say something like, I didn't expect to feel this connected this fast. The social life is different here, but for a lot of people, especially people raising kids, it's actually better. Number 7 on the list is one that immediately kills the middle of nowhere objection. And I hear that one constantly. Number 7, you're not that far from anywhere. One of the things I hear from people before they move here is that they're worried about being in the middle of nowhere. Let me recalibrate that. Hartford is 2 hours from Boston, 2.5 hours from New York City, under an hour from New Haven. The Berkshires are just 90 minutes away. The Rhode Island coast is the same, about an hour and a half. You've got Stowe, Vermont, it's under 3 hours. You're in the dead center of New England. Once you internalize that geography, the whole region starts to feel different. You're not isolated, you're positioned. Number 8 on the list, the school districts vary significantly. Make sure you research them before you choose a town. Connecticut has some of the best public schools in the country and some significant gaps between districts. The suburbs right around Hartford are generally strong. West Hartford, Glastonbury, Simsbury, Avon, South Windsor, they all have excellent public schools. But this is not uniform across the region. And your choice of town is your child's school assignment. Before you fall in love with a house, know the district. I always tell my clients, choose the town first, then find the house, not the other way around. Number 9, people are more welcoming than you expect. This one is harder to quantify, but I hear it from almost every single client who relocates here. New England has a reputation, let's be honest, for being a little reserved, maybe even a little cold, a little closed off. And there's some truth to that in certain contexts. But the communities in my area, the suburbs, are genuinely welcoming to people who show up and participate. And the fastest way to actually feel that, kids. If you're moving here with children, you're going to be standing on sidelines, sitting in bleachers, waiting in school pickup lines next to the same people week after week. And what I've found, and what I hear from almost all of my clients over and over again, is that the parents you meet here are like-minded in a way that's genuinely hard to find. They care about their kids, they care about their community, and they're invested in where they live. They're not just passing through, they choose to be here. They're putting down roots. And that shared investment becomes the foundation for real friendships, real community, and real roots. Join a rec sports league, show up to team events, send your kids to school and get involved. Those connections come, and when they do, they stick. And that brings me to the last number on our list, number 10. The one I wish someone actually had told me about before I ever made the drive up here. Number 10 is you might like it here even more than you think. I'll end with the one that I think is most important. Most people who move to the Greater Hartford area arrive with modest expectations. They chose it for practical reasons, a job, housing costs, proximity to family. They weren't necessarily excited about it, and then something happens. They discover West Hartford Center. They go apple picking for the first time. They find their neighborhood. Their kids make friends. And a year in, 2 years in, they can't imagine why they waited so long to move here. I've seen it again and again. So I've stopped actually being surprised by it. This area has a way of earning people's love and attention that's hard to replicate. You just have to live it. There's a version of this reason that exists in people's heads, based on outdated impressions or a quick drive through on the way to somewhere else. And then there's the version you discover when you actually live here. Those two versions are not the same place. If you're in the research phase, of a potential move to the greater Hartford area. I hope this helped close the gap even just a little. And before I close out, I just want to pose the question of the day. What's the one thing you're most nervous or skeptical about when it comes to moving to the Hartford area? Drop it in the comments below. I promise I'll answer honestly, and there's a good chance it'll become its own video. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe for a new video every single week, and I'll see you on the next one.